Hi, this is a follow-up video to the one I made up with Panolol and how I managed to get some healing from the panic that I was feeling. Um, there's a couple things I want to discuss, but the first one I want to discuss is one of the really big things that I've learned on my journey is that society trains people to gaslight themselves. Okay, so like if you're feeling anxious or you're feeling depressed or you're feeling whatever, people, myself included, were trained to see this as having nothing to do with reality, and rather that it's like a hidden medical problem that because of chemical imbalance you feel this way, like you're hallucinating feeling depressed, and you should take a pill to supposedly cure this thing. And the reality is that, at least in my opinion, about 98% of the time, if you're feeling a certain way, there's an actual reason for it, like an actual legitimate reason for it. And the reason this is important, especially like in my own experience, is that there was a lot of stuff going on in my life that I did not recognize as bad. It's easy to assume that if something is wrong, whatever is wrong would be obvious. But at least, like in my own life, looking back, it wasn't obvious because it was the only thing that I knew. It was the only thing that I knew, and nobody really said anything about it. I even thought that I was actually privileged, as people say now. And so it took me years, if not like a decade, to start to understand that there were some problems because I had been telling myself all that time that there really wasn't. So the point is like if you're feeling these things, look for the reason why, because these things are an indication that there's a problem in your life. And when you dismiss it and you take a pill, all you're doing is you're lying to yourself and you're taking something that numbs you out. And it doesn't just numb you out to the pain, it numbs you out to the good things in life too. It doesn't give you more good stuff, it just has less bad stuff. So there's that. The other thing that I wanted to discuss to kind of, I guess, give people hope for those that are where I was years ago. I can only speak from my own experiences and what's happened with me, but I have managed to actually get a huge amount of legitimate healing. Like I don't need the propanolol like when I started. And the reason I before I started, even after I started with the propanolol, the idea of having a normal life and feeling normal feelings and not being constantly just totally full of adrenaline and panic and all of these different things. The idea that I would be where I am today was almost that was almost impossible to me back then. And I want to give people hope that it took me a long time. It took me from probably when I was about 15 all the way up to when I was about 30 before I had any kind of healing at all. And even then, like when I I was 30, started taking the propranolol and stuff like that, even then it was a very big journey. It was a long journey for me to get healing, but I did get healing. And I want to be able to give that hope that it took me a long time, but it does come. And I guess one side note about that is one of the things that I've learned, at least in my own experience, is that when you're dealing with panic attacks, or you're dealing with PTSD, or you're dealing with anything else like that, people are not going to understand. Okay? They're not going to understand, or they're going to think you're weak or something like that. And like where this would be important is like if you say, okay, I feel a certain way and it's bad or whatever, people will say, well, go to a therapist. And therapists, in my personal experience, were not very useful. I mean no offense to people when I say to anybody when I say this, but I think therapists are very much like strippers in that when you go to a stripper, they talk to you, they inflate your ego, they make you feel good about yourself. But it doesn't last very long. You feel better for about a week. And in my opinion, that's what therapy is. I'm not saying that there aren't good therapists out there, but most of their clientele are not people dealing with unusual problems. They're dealing with normal life and they just don't want to. And so if you're doing therapy, spending $200 a week forever, don't keep doing it just because everybody's telling you to do it. When I've found breakthroughs in my own healing, I know pretty quickly when it's actually helped, or it's helping, like almost immediately. So if people are just telling you to do something and it's not helping, don't keep doing it forever. Like I said, people are not going to understand. It's a journey that's you kind of have to do by yourself. That's why it takes so long. At least why it took so long for me. But hopefully, people can pull something out of my own experiences so they don't have to wander the desert for years. But I appreciate you watching the video. Thanks. Bye.